say how amazing it is that we have these AM powers. Like, who thinks it's so cool that you get to hear from so many different perspectives? Like, everyone is so different, right? And when I started off in this industry, and I'll get to introducing myself in a minute, but when I started off in this industry, it was so crazy because I actually signed up, and then the person that I joined with, I had no clue what network marketing was. I was a nurse, okay? And I had no clue what network marketing was. And she kind of like signed me up, and then I had no one. Like, she was just gone, right? And so I then was like, well, what do I do? I don't know anything about this industry, so I better start like figuring it out. And I found this hot mess express mom. Okay. I'm a loud Jersey girl. I talk with my hands. I'm Italian. Okay. Some of you are going to see me today and be like, oh no, she annoys me. And some of you are going to be like, I love her. Right. Because everybody's so different. Right. And so I found this hot mess mom who had her hair in a bun. She was sitting in her car while her kids were going nuts in the background. And at the time I had my kids were small. And so I was like, she's me. Like, dude, I'm following her, right? And that is how I learned all of my skills, was because of connection. I had a connection to somebody. And even though I had no upline, I had somebody that I felt like I was relating to the point where I said, I can do this. I can do it on my own. I don't need an upline. Okay. Even though I didn't know anything about the industry at all. Okay. So with that being said, my name is Shanna. I am a mom of four. I live in New Jersey. As I said, I'm a Jersey girl. Okay. I do talk with my hands. I am loud. I have been in this industry for about, oh gosh, it's like 10, 11 years now. And as James said, I have been in a couple different companies. We were able to earn seven figures. We were able to be in a couple different companies and be at the very, very tippity top of a couple different companies. And I have been a ER nurse. I was an ER nurse for about, I'd say what, 12, 13 years before I was able to retire. And I always put it in my air quotes here, retire, okay, because of this industry. And so I always said that if I wasn't going to do bedside nursing, that I needed to make sure that wherever I was going to be, it was impactful, right? So I knew that health and wellness, that's my jam. I don't think I could ever veer away from health and wellness. I also am a certified nutritional health coach. And it's just something that I absolutely love, right? And so when I was thinking about what topic I wanted to talk about today, just so you know, I am a note taker because I have ADD and my brain is a squirrel brain. Okay. I will literally be thinking about a million different things and I just want to say so much just wants to come out of me. So I wrote notes. Okay. So if you see me looking down, it's just to get my focus back. Okay. So I thought about what I wanted to talk about today. And besides all of that health and wellness part, I also am a certified Enneagram coach. Okay. And while James told me I only have 20 minutes, like that just like popped up on me all of a sudden. And I'm like, James, you do this before you bring me on? Like, I'm like, okay, I got 20 minutes. I cannot do it. I can't get into the Enneagram stuff. I can't get into the color personality stuff, which maybe I'll be able to do tomorrow. But I said, what I can do, okay, is really, really talk about the fact of the power of connections, okay, the power of relationships and getting to understand people. I think that that is like the real thing that I want to talk about is understanding people and their pain points and their needs and being a listener instead of being the one who is always the talker, right? And it's very, very important in our industry. And it might sound like a topic that is kind of off topic in a way, but it's not, because we need to know how to understand people in order to make sales. Okay. So, first things first, or even in order to recruit, to bring in people, right? Okay. So, first things first, who here has ever bought something on emotion? And what I mean is by the way it made you feel, or because you felt seen or heard. Put a 1 in the comments if you ever emotionally bought because of how someone made you feel maybe you felt seen for the first time. You're like, oh my gosh, like that is me. That girl is speaking to my soul, right? And next thing you know, you're buying, right? Okay, I see a lot of ones. I see a lot of ones. So I know that I'm on track here, right? Like people, 80%, just a little tidbit there. That comes from the 5 Enneagram of me. Just a little tidbit there. 80% of people are emotional buyers. Okay? So that's a huge percent. I was cracking up because I was talking to Brandon right before this, right? And I said, babe, I said, did you know that 80% of people are emotional buyers? And I asked him that same question. And do you know what he said to me? He goes, not me. I just buy what I need. Right. Like he's one of those. He's like, I just buy what I need. Like if I need toilet paper, it's not emotional. Like I'm just buying what I need. Right. But then I said, you're a liar. I said, talk to me about what you buy every Christmas. Like he's a Lions fan. Right. So he will have literally every single Lions gear you can ever dream of, the hats, the shirts, the whatever. Right. And I'm like, you don't know this, but that's an emotional buy. You were born in Michigan. Your whole family loved the Lions. You grew up with, that being in your household. And those purchases aren't just something you need. They're an emotional buy. Okay. It's something that makes you feel, go Lions. I'm glad there's Lions fans on here. Okay. Cause sometimes we're the underdog, right? Okay. So, and so anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go right into the topic of I want to talk about not transitional, I'm sorry, transformational selling, okay, versus transactional selling. So both of these, I mean, I'm telling you, they're polar opposites. And once you learn how to get the knack of this, you guys are going to be sellers out there without even having to sell, okay? So, transactional selling, if you can look at the difference, transactional selling is very surface, okay? It's very much asking like you're basically saying what can I get from this person, right? Have you ever heard anybody in this industry say I got to get this person? Have you ever heard that? Drop a 1 if you've ever heard somebody say I got to get this person, right? Yeah. Well, I see a lot of 1s. Okay. So right there, you're thinking of yourself. Okay. You're looking at somebody as a transaction and you're also very, very cold. Okay. And what examples of transactional selling is somebody asking you that they're interested. Let's say you make a post out there or you're talking to somebody and they're telling you they're interested in your product, right? And you go into their inbox and you go, cool, here's my product. And you send them a link. Okay. That's transactional. Very, very surface level. You have no clue why they even want the product. You're just like, just buy for me. Okay. Now, transformational selling on this side, right? This side is completely opposite. You're thinking about the other person. You're not thinking about what you're going to get from them. You're thinking about how you're going to transform them. You're thinking of impact, right? And so in that scenario, if somebody was interested in your product and they're coming into your inbox, I never, ever give somebody my link first. Now, everybody's different, right? That's what these AM powers are about. You can have somebody that you relate to on here and you're just like, nope, it's all a numbers game. I'm sending my link to as many people as I possibly can. And that's how I do my business. And heck, it works for some of you, right? See, me, I do things a little bit differently. Somebody comes into my inbox and tells me they're interested. My reply back to them is, great. Tell me a little bit more about what you're suffering with. Or if you had a magic wand and it can fix all of your problems, what would those problems be? Right? And they're going to come back. And I'm going to tell you, people love to talk about themselves. If there is one thing I have learned in learning people, okay, and being an Enneagram coach was all about learning people, learning about yourself, learning how to interact with other people, okay? The one thing I have learned is that people want to talk about themselves, guys. So guess what? You get them talking about themselves. You get them in an emotional state where they will want to buy from you. they will want to join with you. Okay. Because you're creating a safe place. They're worried about safety, right? If they feel safe with you, if you have that, know, like, and trust factor, they are going to, you're going to close them, right? Close them because you've made that relationship, right? So when you ask questions like that, they're going to start to talk about themselves. And they already open up the floodgates for you guys. Guys, you already know exactly what you need to solve, right? We're worried about solving their problems instead of worrying about being transactional and hurry up and buy from my link, right? Okay. So how does this work when you're talking about the business? Well, guys, if you were doing a transactional sell and when you're talking about the business, you'd be like, dude, our comp plan is awesome. Like, let me give you my comp plan. It's freaking awesome. Like, it's the best comp plan out there because everybody has the best. Everybody. So you're gonna give them your comp plan PDF. You're gonna tell them the comp plan's awesome, and that's it. And they're gonna be like, okay, right? Now, here's transformational. This is the other way you can go about this is telling them stuff like I do. I tell them how much I've made in a way that's not salesy and flashy, but like this, okay? Oh my gosh, our compensation plan, I don't know about you, but I've been in other compensation plans where I've felt like all of the time, unless you were this huge top leader, that's the only time you can make really good money. I'm talking about really decent money, right? But in this comp plan, you can get up to 80% commissions, even if you wanted to just sell. And guys, the other day, I literally sold a 3-pack of coffee. They paid $135 for that 3-pack coffee. I made $111 off that. That story, sharing that story, is somebody's going to get excited over that. I mean, knowing that even anybody could win here. Anybody can make money here, whether you're just here to sell the product or whether you are here because you want to build a big business, right? Another example is sharing about somebody. If you know that the person that you're talking with, and we're going to get to that in a second because you're going to start to learn your people. But if you know that the person that you're talking with is a busy mom, she's been complaining on her profile that she's broke, she has 5 kids, she can't afford this, she's so busy and all of those things. Share a story of somebody in the company that has made money. It doesn't have to be $10,000, but it could be another busy mom that's on your team and you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to love this. My friend Mary, she felt the exact same way. She's so busy. She's got 4 kids, all this stuff. And she literally was able to pay off her car payment this month with this comp plan. Again, emotionally selling, right? People go by emotions first, logic second. Okay. So I wanted to share something else with you guys that I do. I love three-way. I love three-way chats, okay? Or three-way calls, whatever, however you want to run it, okay? It's putting somebody in front of somebody else so it validates what you're saying, right? But the reason why I love three-way chats with my team, and the reason why sometimes, I'm sorry guys, if you're in my inbox and I don't answer you right away, it's because I got three-way chats going on like cray-cray, okay? My entire thing is filled with three-way chats, okay? Because this is what I teach my team. And this is what duplicates, right? So they put me in a chat with somebody that is a prospect. The very first thing I do before I even open my mouth and say anything to that person is I go on their profile, okay? And I'm going to give you an example of stuff that I say, but I go on their profile and I am going to find out about that person just by looking at their profile. I'm going to scroll and I'm going to see if that person is a busy mom, I'm going to know it. If that person loves travel, and again, this is like the Enneagram coach in me, I will learn that person. If that person is sitting there and they're posting about going here, going there, going here, going there, or they're posting because they went out and they had fun with their friends or whatever, I know that person loves to have fun and loves travel, right? If I go on that person's page and I see that they're very, very like type A, They're talking a lot about like financial stuff, they're numbers person, all of those things. I'm going to go in there and know already. Before I even go into that three-way chat, guys, I don't just go in there and try to sell somebody. I go in there and I'm like, I already know this person. I know exactly what to say to make this person join. Exactly what to say. And it's not in a gross way. It's in a, I relate to this person in this way, right? So I went in, and let's say as a nurse that I have another person who wants to join that's a nurse, or they're in the medical field. I'm already making sure that person knows that I was in the medical field, that I love to learn about the body, the ingredients. I think that they're going to be amazing at this because they're going to love the ingredients here. If there's somebody that I can see, they're red personalities, they care about money. That's their big thing, right? They're like, show me the money. I'm going to go in there and show them the money, right? Because you have to know that you have to learn that person. Like, that is how you sell, guys, is learning that person by you going in there and just being like, because I've seen this before. I'm just going to be honest with you. Going into a chat and somebody literally is talking to me in the complete wrong way. I'm like, nothing you are saying is going to make me join. Because if somebody comes in there and tells me, oh, I don't have that much time because my upline, I can fit you in. I might be able to fit you into a call because my upline, she's a 7-figure earner and she's very busy and she doesn't have time for a lot of people. I'll literally tell you to go kick rocks. Like, I don't care. Then if you don't have enough time for me and you think I care that your upline is 7 figures, I'm into, like, I don't care. That is not going to sell me. So you just lost me because you didn't get to know me. You didn't know what I care about, right? So that is what you guys like. That's what I'm encouraging you guys to do, is to always go and check out people's profiles and ask the right questions. Now, people are going to say, well, how do I do that? Like, what's the right question? So when you get into a chat with somebody, right? Start to listen more instead of being the talker. Have you ever like had somebody that was trying to prospect you and they sat there and they would like spit out so much information and so many things that you were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, this is like overload. I can't, they don't even ask you. The very first thing that I do when I get into a chat with somebody is I try to relate to them. I talk about one relatable thing. So whatever I found on their profile, I'm going to try to relate to them with that relatable thing. Then I'm going to say, what made you look at Vital Health? What made you interested in Vital Health? Right? Because guess what? They're going to talk about themselves again. And guess what? Now we know what to say back to them, right? Okay. So, okay, how do we get better at this? So, what one thing is, all of you have an audience, right? Especially if you're on social media, you already know like who your ideal customers are, right? Put one pain point in the comments that your ideal customer has. Like, just off the top of your head, like I would know hormone health. Like, that's the thing. My people who follow me, they've got like unbalanced hormones like crazy, right? What is one pain point? Weight loss, fatigue, low energy, brain fog. See, you guys are good. You know your stuff. General health, malnutrition, menopause. Yeah, okay. So we need to start talking to people about those the feelings that you get when you have those things. So I see sleep, I see menopause, right? I don't have any problems with compliance. You want to know why I don't? Because I talk about feelings. I talk about feelings. I don't have to talk about any diagnoses or anything like that, because if you explain what somebody feels like when they have anxiety instead of saying anxiety, people are going to stop because they're going to relate to those feelings, right? Racing heart, impending doom, feeling like, your heart's racing, uh, all of those things. Like, instead of saying the word anxiety, okay? So what do you feel when you can't sleep? Is your brain racing? Can you not shut off your brain? Are you, feeling like, you can't get back to sleep, like you can't get a restful sleep, you feel like you have nightmares, you have terrors, whatever, like describe that, right? Feeling. Um okay. So, I'm going to go into okay, listening. So listen like a coach. Sorry, I have to look at because I want to make sure I close this up now. There's 5 minutes. Listen like a coach, not a closer. Okay, so validating feelings. I remember one time James came to me and said, "You need to do a training on being an empathetic leader because I don't know what it is that you do or say to people, but you turn things around like something, there's just something about it. It's because I validate feelings, right? And so if somebody comes into my inbox, right, and tells me, girl, I want to join you, but I'm just going to tell you, I'm just too shy. I can't do what you do. I'm too shy. Right. Or girl, I want to join this, but like, I have no time. I literally have no time. I completely get you, girl. I completely understand exactly what you're feeling, what you're saying, because I felt that way too. And let me tell you something. I was a nurse. I was working 13-hour shifts as a nurse. And what I did was I learned how to fit this business into those little nooks and cranny of time that I had. And I was able to build a 6-figure business while I was still working as a nurse 14 hours. Like, I know you can do it, right? But you validated them. You validated their feelings, right? If you like, conflict resolution is a huge thing when you have a team like this, guys. They're a volunteer army. They don't have to stay with you. They don't have to stay with you. So making sure that you kind of have that empathy and that conflict resolution, it's so important, and it's important in our business. People are going to come to you and tell you they're going to kind of release their fears with you. You have to be relatable and say to them, I understand. I get it. Give them a way out, but let them know that they're not crazy by telling you that, right? Because you felt that way at some point, right? Okay. So I'm going to try to finish this off. Okay. So guys, you don't basically the whole thing is you don't need the perfect pitch. Okay? There's no like magical pitch or script, or as a matter of fact, when sometimes people send me a script in a link, I'm literally like, are you kidding me? Right? We don't need this magical pitch. We just need to start having a better understanding of people, right? And so with that being said, I'm going to close this off by giving you guys a call to action. And I just want you guys today to do something super, super simple, right? Okay. First off, have you ever talked to somebody? Have you ever had a conversation with somebody, right? And you know that they're not listening. They're waiting for their time to talk. They're waiting for them to be able to speak. Like they're not listening to you. They're just like wanting to get it out, right? Like put a 1 in the comments if you've ever been in a conversation like that, right? I've actually been on calls where, I was interviewing companies and I felt that way. Or there were people who were literally there like this. And I'm thinking, you want me to come to your company? Like how rude, like when you're not listening, right? And so my call to action for you guys today is, first off, just go in a couple people's inboxes today, a couple of your friends, and just ask them how they're doing, right? And if you have a prospect who has been on the wait, like just on the fence, like just sitting there, keep saying, yep, I'm going to join, and then they haven't, right? I want you to go in there. Okay, this can be customer or somebody who's joining. And all I want you to do is just say to them, "Hey Mary, like I just wanted to come and check in on you because I know that you have been having so much trouble sleeping." Okay? You remembered. You remembered what that person was struggling with, right? They're going to take that into consideration, right? Hey, Andy, like I know that you were thinking of joining this business. I'm just checking in on you because I know what this can do. Yesterday, one of the girls on my team just made $500. She's never made any money in this industry before. And she literally pulled in $500 that she was able to put towards her bills. And I know that you're struggling right now. And dude, I want to help you. I want to help you, right? So instead of going in and your follow-up is, hey, did you watch my video? Do you have any questions? That's the worst follow-up, by the way. Do you have any questions for me? No, 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 no. You go in and you touch on the subject. The subject, now that you know that person, you touch on that pain point right then. That's what's going to make them jump, right? So go in to the people that you have been prospecting, whether it's your customer, whether it's your somebody who's ready to be an affiliate with you. Find that pain point, whatever that pain point was, and go in there and ask them, say, hey, I know that you've been having a rough time sleeping. Like, I wanted to check in on you and see how you were doing, right? I know that you've been struggling with money, with finances. Like, I'm just checking in on you to see how you're doing, bro, because yesterday this person just paid off and they've never made any money in this industry before. And I know what we can do. So let's do it.